All right, welcome back everyone to another Wednesday evening of racing at the Pony Express Sim Racing channel. I am your host tonight, JR Kopp, and I am joined in the booth tonight by Mr. Patrick Ripley. How are you tonight, Patrick?
Excellent. Glad to be here. Sad I'm not on the track, but always nice to watch racing on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, we are coming from Road America. Unfortunately, Patrick, who currently sits fourth in the GTE Championship, is well, he's on the other side of the pond, waiting to come back this way. But you just did say you were going to make it back for Sebring this weekend, though.
Yeah, I'll be back for the 12-hour, and I'll be back for Watkins Glen next week, the final round of this season. So hopefully I can make up some of those lost points on these guys.
Yeah, speaking of points, so round 12 tonight, going into to next week's final round. GTE, we got quite a battle between Paul Skip, leading by 6 points over David Lehman, and 12 points by Terry Kroger. So those guys are going to come right down to it. And I would say 13 points behind Patrick Ripley, but he's going to lose quite a few points tonight, I have a feeling. What do you think, Patrick?
Yeah, I mean, with how strong these top five guys are, it's hard to stay with them when you're not there. I mean, it's been such good racing all season. I can't see anything changing.
Yeah, in fact, I see Paul Skip is here tonight, as is Terry Kroger Jr. I am not seeing David Lehman on the lineup here yet tonight. Hopefully he makes it.
Yeah, that could be big. That could be an issue.
Yes, it could.
I know Ryan Tyler's not far away either. I think he was a point or two behind me.
I think he's in 5th place. Yep, and I do see Ryan's he's loaded up for the night, so hopefully he'll get out there. And meanwhile, over in GT3, Patrick, we got quite the battle between Aaron Claybaugh and Nicholas Pletty. 4 points separate those two with 2 rounds to go, and I do see both of those guys in here tonight.
Yeah, that's been a dogfight all season in GT3. I mean, those guys, it's hard when you're coming up on them trying to pick through them because you're so worried about their championship as well. It's been awesome to watch.
Yeah, and the guy who was he missed a couple races at the start of the season, but Carl Handwerk is once again in the field, and we both talked previously how fast Carl is.
Yeah, I don't know where he's finding the time on some of these guys. It's almost Denny's like. It's that impressive.
It is. Yep. And I'm looking to see the other gentleman that has been just fast is Benjamin Morales, but I'm not seeing his name on the lineup yet tonight either. Now some of these guys might still be loading in, but we are here at Road America tonight, Patrick, and I know you're across the pond, and I'm watching the races, and it looks all nice and green. I don't think that's what it looks like there this time of year, because we are just getting crushed up here with snow again.
Yeah, I don't know if what is that, Minnesota?
Well,
Michigan?
They're in Wisconsin, but they're not too far south of where I'm at. So
yeah, not where you want to be right now.
No. Now you've been doing a lot of racing. What is your take on Road America as far as a driver's track? How do you enjoy it? Do you like coming here, or is this one of those that you're just kind of shake your head and go, oh, let's just get this over with?
Here personally, I struggle. I mean, it's such a technical track, but it doesn't seem that way. Starting off with corner 1, I mean, it's a little bit off camber. It's really hard braking. So
but it's so fast.
It's so fast. So a combination of a fast corner with hard braking, off camber, it's just flat out tricky. And then you get to the bottom of the hill for 2. Medium speed, feels a bit off camber again. Down into corner 3, down the hill, hard braking, down a hill. Like that's not easy. And
it's usually down a hill with somebody on your inside, somebody on your outside. It's
exactly
a favorite. It's the the overtaking spot of the night.
Yeah, and I mean, it just keeps going, right? You get to the carousel, that's not easy. There's 300 lines through there, and I feel like everyone I take is wrong. Then you get I don't know what it's going to be like in these cars tonight, if the kink's going to be flat out or if it's going to be just a little breathe. I've done no laps here in this car, so.
Well, lately it's been flat out, and I would assume with the high downforce package here tonight, it's going to be flat out. But again, if you can't take it flat out, that means you're going to get the run down to the hill in the Canada corner. You're going to see braking and overtaking and guys shooting it in a little bit too deep. And it's one of those tracks where there's a lot of spots where you think you can pass, and there's a lot of spots where you shouldn't pass.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's easy to get it wrong here, being such high speed.
Yes. Yep. I like Road America. This was the spot of my first ever Pony Express victory. Actually, my first and only Pony Express victory, I should say. So,
there you go.
So I have a special place for this track.
Carl.
Yeah, Carl. As we see, these guys are just about wrapping up qualifying. It looks like just about everyone has finished up qualifying. Got a few guys out here. David Reel, excuse me. Although he, guessing he's just getting in a little bit of extra laps. But it looks like we're going to have Nick Terrell on the pole for GTE tonight. And, I mean, Ryan, I don't know if you can see those times. I know now, for those of you that don't know, Ryan is, he's trying to watch what I'm seeing. And so we're doing this a little blind here. But Terry Kroger, 1/10 back from Nick Terrell. Another 10th back, you got Ryan Tyler. 2/10, you got Tyler Langenberg. 4 100s, Brad McCombs. And then another 10th is Paul Skip. You just aren't going to get much closer racing than that.
Yeah, that's what, the whole top 6 in within half a second? That's pretty good.
That's going to be a tight race. And even Daniel Higley, who's normally pretty quick, is only 6/10 back of that.
Yeah, I think it's anybody's race.
And GT3 is the exact same way. Carl on the pole in the usual Ferrari has got 2/10 on Aaron Claybaugh, who's got 3/10 on Nicholas Putty. You're 1 and 2 running in the championship. This is going to be a great race tonight here from Road America.
Yeah, that's a good qualifying from Tom as well. It's nice to see him back running a race.
Yeah, hopefully it would be nice to see Tom run the whole race. I know I say that every week, and it seems like I curse the young man, but nice to see him up there getting in some good times. We see the usuals. Marcus Osborne with a nice qualifying time tonight. Hopefully he can turn that into a good performance here. So it looks like not a lot of drivers in GTE tonight. It's I'm not sure if we just had a bunch of life does kind of come in the way of sim racing. So hopefully it's got 7 guys in GTE and 15 guys in GT3 tonight. So a little bit smaller field than what we normally have. And it looks like, sorry about that, Patrick.
Yep, no worries.
Looks like when the broadcast switches, it dumps you out of the broadcast booth and into.
Well, now we know.
Now we know. Yeah, keep an eye on that. Well, it looks like we are getting these guys are jumping up on the grid here. And we're going to throw up the qualifying times. Hopefully they show up tonight. Let's see. Oh, look at that. SDK is pretty small field tonight. I was just telling everybody, a pretty small field in GTE tonight. Only 7 drivers.
I mean, no lack of talent, though.
No, definitely not. These guys are, you said the top 6 is within a second. That's, it's going to be fun to watch. And also, we got quite a big field tonight, actually, in GT3. As you see here, we got 22 drivers tonight. So there's going to be a lot of traffic on Road America. It's a big course, long lap times, but you're still going to find out there's going to be a lot of traffic.
Yeah, I was looking earlier, and they were doing some testing, and it looked like the GT3 cars were getting the same sort of top end speed at the end of the straightaways here, so that could create some problems for these GTE guys.
Yeah, we've been noticing that with these new setups. It's been a lot closer racing between classes than it's normally been, which means if the GTE guys do start getting into lap traffic, it is not going to be easy to get around them.
Yeah, I mean, you'd want to just draft by and call it a day, but it makes it a lot more challenging. You have to beat them in the break zones, and they've got the ABS to really get in there deep. So you've really got to be confident.
Yeah, that does make it a lot harder. You know, a lot of times you don't realize just how big of a difference that ABS makes when it comes to sim racing.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you really get into the break zones. I know that sounds funny to say and it's obvious, but you can go an extra 50 meters deeper than the GTE cars and not worry about locking up, and it's a real safety valve. It's a really nice thing to have on those cars.
It is. It does make them a little bit easier to drive.
I think the word I wanted was forgiving. A little more forgiving.
There you go. Well, now the only downside to Road America is it is like a 37-minute parade lap.
Yeah, I was a little shocked they didn't start on the back straight, but
it does seem to be forever. Now, any first-time viewers here to Pony Express are going to see something that you don't see in a lot of other places. We do single-file restarts or single-file starts here. And no passing. I think tonight is no passing until after turn... Well, is it technically turn 3, I think?
Yeah, at the end of the second straightaway, I'd imagine.
Yeah. So, it just gives everybody a chance to get sorted out a little bit and to try to avoid the first lap dive bombing, crash, take out, 6 people. Nobody wants to see that.
Yeah, it lets you get in the flow early, and then everybody kind of gets their head about them. It works out nicely.
Yes. Yeah. And I know the first season of Pony Express, we did not have that, and it did not go well.
Not quite smooth, huh?
No, it wasn't exactly the smoothest of beginnings. In fact, it was one of those where you just kind of qualified in the back and just waited, kind of hope the chaos cleared out a little bit, which is not how you want racing to be.
No.
So as these guys get underway here, as Nick Terrell in the black Goodrich Corvette tonight. Now, you race GTE. Ryan, what do you race? Are you a Porsche guy, Corvette?
I typically seem to be the lone Ford GT in the field.
That is correct.
I'm the odd man out, kind of like Nick typically is in the Corvette.
Now, you race, we have Nick in the Corvette and Daniel Higley in the BMW. Brad McCombs is in there. Now, is there a reason you race the Ford?
I just enjoy it the most. It's I have a gravitational pull to it. We have a connection. So,
for those of you that want to know the connection, you can check out the latest episode of Pony Express Sim Racing, the podcast, where Ryan is nice enough to join us and doesn't tell us anything.
It happens.
But it was a good podcast. We had a good time. Or Patrick, excuse me. I don't know why I kept calling you Ryan. That's going to be bad.
I wasn't going to correct you.
Well, you better, because otherwise it'll be Ryan forever.
All right, let's see this start. Should be a good
race. All right,
race.
Patrick, let's see what... Oh, that's really not a good view there, iRacing. Here we go. As Nick Terrell's going to get us underway here. Oh, and he's got quite the lead. Looks like Terry Kroger might have been asleep at the wheel at the start there. Although, again, with that no passing rule, these guys are going to come down here. And hopefully everybody makes it through corner 1 nice and tidy.
It's a nice long draft down the back straight. I don't think you're too worried about a good jump here.
No. Nice clean. And we're going to jump back here real quick to this GT3 field. As you see, these guys are already on the back. Carl leading the group of 22 guys tonight. And here we see the train coming, Patrick.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
It is, because it's almost Daytona-esque coming down that back straightaway like that. You get such a draft and such a run on these guys.
Yeah, with everybody running the high downforce setups too, it just punches these big holes in the air for you to suck up to the guy in front of you.
And then it becomes a matter of who's bravest on the brakes.
Yeah, it's really about trusting the guy that's inside of you. I mean, it makes a big difference if you know who you're racing.
Yes, exactly. Well, let's
Seems
we'll
to be
jump.
pretty clean so far.
Yeah, I mean, I have got no incidents. We have just Richard Hurst has just put a wheel off track is all, and it looks like these guys are coming through the kink wide open tonight.
Oof, that's gonna be fast. That's gonna be fast all day then.
Yep.
We'll see what happens when the tires start to fall off. But
Now, you not having done many laps here, really don't have a clue how tires are going to hold up here. Is this normally a pretty hard on the track kind of, is it pretty hard on the tires? Or is this pretty forgiving?
there's a lot of fast right-handers. You're really gonna wear down that left front. I think almost the strategy would be to take left sides at this track.
Interesting. I'll tell you
We'll
what.
see if anybody.
Yeah,
see if
you'll
anybody,
know.
takes that advice, but
Yeah, you'll know because this man right here, Carl Handwerk, is by far and away the master strategist here in the Pony Express.
he's had a few good ones, has he?
He has been. At times, he's the only guy that's taken tires. At other tracks, he's the only one that hasn't taken tires. And, I think he runs multiple races on different scenarios, full out. He probably runs full 140-minute track sessions, taking tires, not taking tires, figuring out when to fuel and how much fuel to take. So if there's one man that's going to know, it's going to be Carl.
Hey, that's the level these guys are getting to now. Everybody wants to win, so you're really putting in the time to be there at the end.
And we're coming down. We got 2 races left of the season, so it's that point in time, Patrick, where you have to put in that time if you really want that championship, especially for guys like Carl. He's back there a little bit, but depending on how drop weeks come out, he could very well easily close that gap to those guys in front.
Yeah, I mean, it takes 1 or 2 bad races from Aaron and Nicholas to let him catch up. So you can't hold anything back at this point in the season.
No, and Road America, it's tricky, but it's also you almost have to be aggressive here. You can't kind of halfway go through these corners because you just get eaten alive, it seems like.
It's very easy to lose time here. Very easy to lose time. I mean, it's not like somewhere like Le Mans where, you have a corner and then you have a little bit of a break. You have corner 1 and 2 come at you pretty quick. Then you have the long back straight. And then the track just keeps coming and coming and coming and coming, and there's really no chance to rest.
There isn't one. Yeah, once you get past that last long back straight, it is just nonstop, and especially you come through that carousel. It's like you said, there's so many lines, and it's so hard on the tires. Especially after an hour of going through that carousel, and you're just putting so much beating on the left side tires.
Yeah, it's I think it's a noon race too, so it's going to be hot out there for these guys, and that's not going to help the tire situation either.
Yeah, in fact, let's throw that up here. So track, yeah, it's already 82 degrees out. Track temperature is 109.
Yeah, that's a hot one.
That's going to be greasy, slippery.
So I wouldn't be shocked to see a lot of these guys take some tires.
Yeah, and they've we're lap 3 into this already, and it's been quick. Oh, and we Mark Dillon Jr., our first incident. Let's see what happens to Mark here. He's in the Zelda car tonight. Well, that's an interesting
That's
paint
a good
scheme.
look. I like it.
I have he had not seen that, and you can see
it's
what
a double
happens.
whammy.
Is everything just kind of backs up. Mark kind of in a spot where there's just nothing you can do about it. And it looks like he's going to take that thing back to the pits. Not what Mark wanted to have happen here tonight. Interesting paint scheme from Mark, though. I have not seen that one before.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask him where that came from.
Yeah, Mark is he's pretty good at coming up with paint schemes, so that's nice to see Mark out there. Nice to see him on track racing as well. He does a lot of work, you know, putting all these races on. And we've got Richard Curry's got another incident. See what happened to Richard. Now he was caught up in that incident earlier with Mark. That thing just doesn't sound real good.
No, that's not the way that car should sound.
No, and he's gonna put that thing on the tow truck, and you can haul it back and take a fast repair.
That's one thing you have to watch here. That's a long tow for these guys.
Yeah. Yes, you are in the tow truck for quite a while. Well, it's a long lap here as well. You know, 2 minutes is... Well, it doesn't sound like much. 2 minutes on this track seems like an eternity.
It's about a 4.5 mile track. Like, it's a good length.
Yeah. Yep, I grew up watching Superbikes race this, and, you know, AMA racing this track. So it's in my opinion, it's even funner to watch on motorcycles because they go through that carousel, you know, leaned all the way over on the right side of that bike, just hanging on.
Yeah, those guys are another breed.
Looks like Nick Terrell's managed to pull a little bit of a gap on Terry Kroger. And I guess one of the big things here, Patrick, is you want to get that gap so they don't get that draft coming down the back straight.
Yeah, you want to break that draft as much as possible. So Nick getting ahead like this is pretty impressive with Terry behind him. It's not an easy feat, let me tell you.
Yeah, so Terry, he's only 12 points behind the leaders here in the season. And these guys really, I mean, this whole GTE field tonight, they've all been nose to tail since the drop of the flag here this evening.
Yeah, I mean, I'm even looking down at GT3, and everybody is tight right now. There's
little gap here and there. I see, looks like Tyler Langenberg and Bradley McCombs have managed to make up a few spots. Ryan Tyler, wonder if he's just kind of getting the field. Normally Ryan's got that BMW, and he's really quick right off the start.
Yeah, he's usually pretty dialed in, so maybe coming down the hill into 3, bit of a braking issue, because we didn't see any replays for a spin.
No. Oh, yep. Yeah, that BMW does not look settled there, Patrick. It looks like that rear end's getting a little light.
Yeah, that might have been... I don't know what that would have been for Ryan. That's not common for him to do.
No, not at all. But he is holding right in there with Brad McCombs. And your series leader at the moment, Paul Skip, holding his own back there in 6th place. And also, you know, these guys figure there's only 7 of them out there. As long as they, you know, kind of keep each other in view, you can see that guy. You're not really that far behind.
Yeah, it's going to make pit strategy that much more important. I think you can maybe try an overcut or an undercut here. Should be interesting.
Yeah, let's check here, see what happens. Mr. Sean Adkins coming down into turn 3. Sean just runs it in there a little bit hot. Sean running an interesting paint scheme tonight, too. Oh, and now we have Tony Watson. Had another incident here. Let's see what happens to Tony. Tony running the Kraken BMW, is that correct?
That's Dan Hingley.
There we go.
There
It switched me over to Daniel Hingley. I was like, Tony Watson, he always runs the 59 Porsche.
Be weird if it wasn't the most car.
Oh, looks like he was able to keep it off the wall, though.
That's a nice save.
That was a very nice save. Yeah, that caught me off guard. I was like, I don't remember Tony ever racing anything other than the Porsche. And it looks like Carl has actually managed to pull a little bit of a gap.
It's not much, but it's there. I mean,
it's
that's
there, and
gonna
it's
draft a little bit.
Yeah, he's about 0.8 of a second faster so far than, you know, his last lap was his best lap, a 2:07 flat. As we see Aaron Clayball here, he's, you know, 2:07.1. Had a little incident that time, a little bit slower than Carl, but not bad.
Yeah, I mean, a tenth is nothing in this world when you can make up a second and a half on a small mistake. So that's almost identical lap times.
Yep. Yeah, especially if, you know, as long as you're within that half a second of the guy in front of you, you're going to usually make that right back up coming down that long back straight. In fact, you know, I think what we should do is, because I'm sure Paul Boyle's out there somewhere, and he's going to be screaming if we don't put up the gyro cam at some point in time. We'll jump on board with Mr. Carl Hamburg, because, well, perfect timing too. I didn't hear any lift there from him at all. Did you, Patrick?
No lift there. Those high downforce setups, I think that's going to really help.
Yeah, I think these guys are, especially Carl, he's going to be pretty dialed in. I mean, he's upshifting coming
no
up
lift
there.
That's either. That's
nothing.
Yeah, that's pretty textbook.
That's how you want to run Road America there for anybody watching. Now this is the corner that I do not enjoy this corner whatsoever. Oh, he is in there deep too.
No problem.
Nothing for Carl, just another Sunday drive going to McDonald's for Carl.
So smooth on the wheel too.
Yeah, there's no sawing back and forth. In fact, we'll jump in the cockpit view here. That is one of the nice things about iRacing and sim racing in general, is you get a lot of great views you just don't get.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Although I did see F1 now has helmet. I wouldn't even say it's a helmet cam. It's almost like
it's like a bit of a visor cam.
It's almost like a was that not the greatest? Oh, that was an incredible view.
It's a little shaky, but it looked awesome.
It did. But great as we see Carl coming around the carousel, trying everything he can. Oof. I'll tell you what, if Carl keeps driving like that all night, it's going to be hard to catch the man.
I mean, he's stretched out about a 2-second lead, so he's made up second in the last couple laps. That's nothing to sniff at.
No, in fact, we're going to jump over here. Sean Atkins, we saw him earlier, had some incidents. Is this the same? No, he's coming down inside. Oh, got it in there way too hot.
Ooh.
Oh,
that's a shame.
That's going to make that long tow back to pit road.
Yeah, again, that's just such a tricky corner. You miss your brake zone by 5 meters and you're starting down the hill. Yep, and it's there's nothing you could do. If you miss it just by a little bit, you see what happens. Well, here we got quite the train of guys here. Zachary Nurburg, Daniel Reel, James Foreman, Nami, and Jason McMurray all in a line. Yeah, I've been watching the pylon, and it's been pretty nose to tail for these guys the last little bit. They
Yeah,
haven't really given much up to each other.
No, they have not. I'd be curious to see. Oh, you watch enough of these races and you kind of get that feeling like something's not going to go well. These guys are getting kind of dicey. And unfortunately, turn three is usually where it doesn't go well.
It's still early. I think everybody still has a good head on their shoulders, so I think they'll all stay controlled.
A little bit of patience yet?
Yeah, you don't start feeling it until the second pit stop typically.
Well,
It
and
starts to become go time.
now with the new fuel strategies, just the way the downforce setups, the GT3 guys, I only have one pit stop again tonight.
Oh, that's how much fuel they're carrying for this
They're
race.
carrying a full load.
Yeah, that made it interesting at Phillip Island. I almost thought they could win it outright. They had the pace and the fuel.
They did, and it was close. Yeah, I think that was Carl finished 4th overall.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty impressive. I think with the high-speed corners here, you won't see that, but I'd be wrong before.
No, I don't see that. In fact, here, we'll jump on. So we see Nick, and well, we had the track map up there. Let's see if we can get the SDK. Some days it just doesn't like the track map. And I guess today is going to be one of those days. It'll pop back up whenever it wants to, but it's nice to kind of see the track map so you can kind of see where these guys are. But you see Nick Terrell here. What's he coming into?
I think that's the beginning of the lap traffic.
Yeah. Yeah, that was some of the guys that had some incidents earlier. So he's coming into the carousel. Oh, as we see
Uh-oh.
Richard Curry's had just a nice save, though. Nice little bit of dirt track in there. Yeah. So as we see, Nick Terrell's already coming through the carousel. Carl Handwerk, your GT3 leader, and now I have no displays.
Or going the wrong way.
Yeah, there we go. Now we have all the displays again. So yeah, Carl's probably 30 seconds behind is all.
That's it, huh? I mean, I could stand to be corrected here.
Well, we are only 18 minutes into this, Patrick, so we got quite a bit of racing. As we see, Nick is getting through some lap traffic, getting around, I believe that's Marcus Osborne.
Wow, he picked up a good gap on Terry there.
Yeah, he did.
Traffic has worked out for him.
Yep, these guys are back here. We got Tyler, Terry, and Brad, and Ryan Tyler, all 4 of them working around some lap traffic, but they're starting to get a little racy. Starting to see Nick Terrell pulling away.
That was a nice little move by Ryan there, using some of the other cars as a pick.
Yeah, you're going to see that a lot, especially at this track with that long straightaway. Using those slower drivers as a pick works out well. Well, sometimes it works out well. Oh, as you see, Terry Kroger deep on the brakes there.
That was a good move. And well, Ryan's getting picked back by that GT3 car.
Yep.
So
Terry made the right decision there.
Traffic takes away.
Yes, it does. A lot of these, especially the speed difference isn't as much as you would like to be. You kind of almost have to take that chance whenever you get a chance. We see the Interstate Batteries car off to the side there. He's Richard Hurst waiting for everybody to get by so he doesn't pull out and ruin somebody's night. Well, Nick had that little gap, and Tyler's managed to pull that right back within a half a lap. Well, for all of you Carl Handwerk fans, if you want to see more of Carl on the broadcast, you have to tell him to play nice and race with the rest of us.
I think it's time for him to be banned to GTE.
he might be. As you can see here, he is already 5 seconds on the field, and as we both know, Carl only gets faster as the race goes on. He doesn't usually get slower.
No, he really dials in the entire race. Wow, the GT3 cars are way faster on this straightaway than I would have expected.
Yeah, they are, in fact, we can do... We used to be able, let's see here, we can actually add that in. Look at that. SDK to the rescue.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, there's only a 5 mile an hour, not even 5. You look at some of these guys in the back in that draft. Jason McMurray at 163. Nicholas Pletty at 163.
Yeah, it's making it interesting for sure. I mean, Terry can't seem to get by. Sorry, I'm not quite sure who that is in that car, but...
Well, Terry's right behind Tyler Langenberg, so they're racing in the same class. But yeah, even that, before they had a really hard time getting by. I'm not sure who that was in the GT3 car.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, you can see, you know, even down that long back straight, you're only talking a couple mile an hour. And then you add the fact that the GT3 guys are going to be later and harder on the brakes. That pretty much eats that gap right up.
Yeah, I mean, you're making most of your time in the carousel, the kink. And I guess 1 and 2, you make up a fair bit of time. But it'd be nice to pass them on the straightaway. You hate to try and pass somebody in a corner.
Yeah, well, yeah, usually if it goes well, you still end up costing both of you time. So we see Zach Nurberger here is having a great night for Zach. Holding steady there. Started 8th. And Daniel Reel right behind him. Now, they were in a 5-way battle here not too long ago, Patrick, with Jason McMurray, Nami, and Andrew Malinowski. Got themselves a little bit of a gap here. Oh, as we see, who is that up there? Is that Richard? Or that? Oh no! I cursed him again. Tom trying to get around.
Tom.
I don't know if he's trying to get around if that's Carl or if that's Jimmy, and he just loses it.
A little bit too much
Tom.
that inside curb.
What a shame. He was having a great race too.
That's a real shame for him.
He is going to be mad. He's going to blame me, and I apologize. Wow, look at these guys. Oh, we got contact. I believe that's Daniel Higley in the BMW there, in the Kraken BMW. And he is in the middle of a GT3 field. And these guys are all battling for position.
He's making good headway through it, at least. Oh, that's
Daniel's had some... Daniel's actually... He is battling these guys for position at the moment, so he has had some incidents that's put him back into this mess here. As you can see, normally that is blitzing right by the GT3 guys, but not tonight. Well, looks like he finally made his way out of that battle for 7th position there in GT3.
Well, it's not quite over yet. I mean,
no,
those guys could still catch him in the draft. That big BMW punches quite the hole.
It is a big car, and it feels bigger when you're driving it. We raced that at Bathurst, and it just feels like it's such a big car.
Yeah, I run in the Ford. I mean, I feel like I'm looking at the wheel wells of that thing. It's crazy.
Nick Terrell and Tyler Langenberg in this threesome have kind of pulled away a little bit from the rest of the field in GTE. Brad McCombs, Ryan Tyler, and Paul Skip. Paul is seems to be off the pace here tonight. That is pretty uncommon for Paul.
Yeah, I mean, he's typically up there in the battle, top 5. So, I mean, he might be having the same issue I do, where this just isn't quite your track.
Yeah. And Road America, it's a big, long, winding track, but there's no runoff really, other than, you know, turn 3. And we've seen already a lot of guys, you just get one wheel just up against that dirt at all, and it pulls you right in, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to be so careful with the lack of ABS. Later in the race, I think you'll see a lot more guys locking up into there with the tires wearing away.
Yeah, especially, let's see here. Well, looks like we got a little bit of cloud cover. Track temperature holding steady at 108.
That's still a warm race.
It's still a warm race. You know, and usually you don't feel it for the first half of the race, and then you come in and you make that pit stop, and you get that full load of fuel, and then you're back out on those old tires, and man, is it a handful for the first couple of laps. It's almost learning it all over again.
I mean, the last track we had track temps over 100 that I was a part of was Brazil, and I know quite a few guys took tires there. And then there was the what was that, the Hungaroring debacle? Yes, I was there. I got black flagged. I got the meatball flag from a tire went flat. It was horrible. That was Yeah, that was a hot race as well. So maybe a couple of guys have learned from that, and they'll take some tires.
Oh. Yeah, I think.
Sorry, I brought back.
Yeah, no, that's all right. But that was, I want to say, the guys that took tires and didn't take tires at the end was almost 10 seconds a lap difference in GT3. Yeah, it was just brutal.
That's significant.
Yeah, it was not a fun race. I had fun. I had some good battles with Zach. Zach and I banged each other for 15 laps. Wrecked each other twice, so it was a good team race.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong, as long as you're coming out with smiles.
Yep. Well, now we see here Nicholas Pletty and Paul Boyle, who normally is up there in GTE. He's sent me a message today saying he was running GT3 the rest of the field, or rest of the season. It's just nice to see Paul out there.
That's his preseason testing for next year, I would think.
I think you might be onto something.
I think that's a sneaky way to start doing some testing.
Figure he's out of the championship, get some testing in, and I don't think I've ever seen Nicholas Pletty in the Porsche before. Why does that seem not like his normal car?
I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, if I'm honest.
That is the hardest part about sim racing, especially here in the Endurance for Amateur series, is they can race any car any week, so you don't get used to seeing the same guy in the same car. You know, it's not like real racing. You know, you're not going to switch from racing Corvettes one race to, you know, the Ford GT in the same class the next week, and then the BMW, and then the Porsche.
I mean, I've seen it down in a little bit lower levels in the GT4. GT4, a guy ran a Mustang, a McLaren, and an Aston all in one season. That was that was pretty impressive. But yeah, not typically at a GT3 level.
That's a big wallet.
He's doing okay.
Yeah. He didn't ask about the insurance rates beforehand?
Funny enough, I don't think he was too concerned.
No. As we see, Paul Boyle is going to come up the inside here, turn 1. Oh, that's a sketchy spot to make a pass, Patrick.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it doesn't take much to go wrong there.
Now, especially Paul. Now, you're racing in this series. Paul, who's out of, he's not fighting for any championship. He's just out here running laps. His only goal tonight is a victory. That's the only thing he's got going for him. But he knows Nicholas Pletty right in front of him is running for a championship. He's running for, the season points battle. What is Paul's mindset going to be? How hard is he going to want to push to get around Nicholas?
In my mind, Paul's going to be checker or wrecker on himself. I think it's up to these front-running championship guys to go, okay, you can have the spot, just don't wreck me. I want my points, and I'll move on. I think it really comes down to those guys.
Yeah, and I think I completely agree. I think if I was Nicholas, it'd be, hey, Paul, go ahead and take the outside on corner one, and I'll follow behind you. Because they seem to be pretty similar paced. I just don't know if I would want, because Paul's got nothing to lose, and he's going to push every lap. You might as well just let him take that spot and go. And like you said,
see if you let him go catch Aaron and just hold him up a little bit, So.
Yep. Because if Paul gets in a little bit too deep, and all of a sudden Nicholas's night is over, and he's going to lose all of his points.
Yeah, I think at this point of the year, you just got to use your head. You really got to, if you're in that championship battle, it's how do I maximize my points this race?
Yep. Now, there's an interesting strategy. Terry Kroger, lap 16, is in the pits, and it looks like it was fuel only. Now, we do know that GTE guys are going to have to do 2 pit stops. But that seems a little early, don't you think, Ryan? Or Patrick?
No, I mean, the fuel window on these cars is about 35 minutes, so...
Okay.
He might be doing a bit of a fuel strategy here. He'll do one more and be good to the end, I think.
Yep.
It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be tight for sure.
Are you a go in as soon as the fuel window opens guy, or are you a play it by all the situations? If you're in traffic and you can pit right away, or do you like to try to get all the laps you can so you got that last pit stops a little shorter?
I like to at my pit window end of the race, hit then, and then I know 35 minutes, push as much as you need to, you're good to the end. But if I'm in my window at the start and it makes sense with traffic, not so much here, but somewhere a little smaller like at Phillip Island, where it's almost impossible to get by those guys, then, you think, if I pit now, maybe I'll come out in a gap and you can make some time on other guys. It's hard to do when you don't have a crew chief to get you in and out into the gap. But
yes,
you could think about little things like that.
And that's one thing that I think really makes this series a little bit more exciting is, you not only are you have to race, but you kind of have to be your own in-game pit crew, and you can have all these strategies laid out, and you really don't know because you can't see where everybody else is. You don't know how big of a gap, Okay, if I pit now, it's going to be 48 seconds. I'm going to come out where? Whereas in a real race, you got a guy sitting there going, okay, if you pit now, we're going to come up between this guy and this guy.
Yeah, and that's in real life racing, they give you these constant updates on, okay, if you push and you make a second up, you'll find a gap.
Yeah.
But, here, you see the guys in front of you, you see the guys behind you, and you go, well, hopefully I'm around them when they cycle through.
Hopefully I get back to where I started on all this.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, here we see Carl Handwerk has managed to put a 8.5 second, and I kind of click back to Carl here because I'm curious to see, as we see Terry Kroger is going to come up on the back of him, Patrick, and I think both of these guys we know are fast, and I think this is kind of going to give us a really good idea at, is there a big difference tonight between the two classes? And it's not looking like Terry is gaining all that much on Carl, is it?
Yeah, qualifying, there was only a couple seconds between the front cars, which which is pretty amazing.
So
For
I raced
3 seconds
GT3.
over-
Yep.
Go
Well,
ahead.
I was going to say, I raced GT3 and you raced GTE. Do you like having a bigger gap in time between the two classes, or do you like it where it's a little bit tighter like this?
If I'm leading the race, I want to be miles faster. If I'm back in the pack a little bit, it's nice to have those GT3 guys hold up the front runners. So I think generally it's nice to be a little quicker, because as much as you're multi-class racing, you don't want to have to battle your way through the other class, because that's not good for anybody.
Correct. And now we see Carl is in the middle of that battle. And I look at it from the other side. I race GT3 cars. I wish you guys were 15 seconds a lap faster, so you would just, get by and let me get back onto my race. So I feel more comfortable when that gap is bigger, so I'm not stuck in. Oh, as we see Terry locked it up a little bit in there. So yeah, I agree. I would rather there was almost a bigger gap in speed, so that there wasn't a battle between classes so much. There's going to be enough times where we're all stuck in the same spot fighting for the same piece of real estate. But as we can minimize that time together as much as possible, I'm a happy guy.
I mean, we're gonna get our wish with next season, the return of LMP cars.
Yes, we are gonna. Well, we're either going to get our wish with the return of LMP cars, or we're going to have a Canadian Motorsports Park fiasco, and we'll have to rethink this again.
Yeah, that was exciting. I won the race, so it was perfect. I think we don't change anything from that formula. we just keep running them.
I didn't have a problem. I love Canadian Motorsports Park, even though I have never finished a race there. So
yeah, that would be by far my favorite track of all time. So it's the problem there is it's so high speed, and you can't really take a line that's off track, or you're miles off, right? So
you can't. It's the largest one-line racetrack I've ever raced.
It's so exciting, it's painful.
Yes. Especially when you throw missiles and boulders on the same track.
Yeah, no kidding.
When you see Carl was able to let those guys go by, and he lost a little bit of time to Aaron, but not a lot. He's really smart about letting the faster guys go through without causing anybody any time.
Yeah, I think he does a great job of that. Negotiating traffic is such a big part of multi-class racing. It's definitely something you have to be aware of all the time.
Yes. Well, it looks like we've cycled through all of GTE, and they kind of held serve. Although Nick Torelli came back out, he had a 3.5 second gap before the pit stop started, and he ended up with a 3.5 second pit stop. And looks like the only one that might be a little closer, Terry had about half a second quicker pit stop was all. So really not much.
Yeah, I mean that's a matter of braking a little later into the slow zone. But,
Yep.
I mean, every little bit counts, but
Yeah, and it looks like, we talked a little bit before the show about kind of how big this track was, and everybody's kind of got a really big gap between. There's nobody within a second of each other on track right now, other than, we got Terry Kroger and Brad McCombs here, and even that is not. That's our closest battle on track tonight, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately. Which, as a driver, you kind of like, not having to feel that constant pressure. But as a viewer and an announcer, it makes for a long race, don't you think, Patrick?
being on the other side of it a bunch, it's nice to kind of be able to have a breath. So, I
Yes.
mean, it's not going to stay this way the whole race, and we know that. It's going to start ratcheting up. Everybody's going to start to get a little bit of push. Tires will fall off. Mistakes will happen. So I don't think we're not going to see any racing. I just think they're saving up. We've still got about an hour left to go, so.
Yeah, we just
long
just
race ahead of us.
Yes. Yeah, we just clipped the 40-minute mark. And, you know, we're 40 minutes into this. The tires are going to start to wear a little bit. And I'm just looking at, you know, the leaders' times here in GT3. And Carl is still running 2:07.2s. In fact, him and Jimmy, Mark Thomas is running 2:07s. But these guys are still running really quick lap times. You know, they qualified in the 2:07s, and they're still running 2:07s after 40 minutes, which is pretty amazing considering we do have a pretty hot track tonight.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty surprised by that. I thought there'd be quite a bit more fall off. I wonder if that's... I don't know what that would be attributed to. I'm not quite sure. Lower fuel coming down in those GT3 cars, I think, is going to make a difference. But...
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Oh, speaking of Paul Skip, oh no, let's see what happens to Mr. Skip here as he's coming down into where all the action is. Hopefully it's just got in a little too deep. Caught that inside curb. Oh, he's able to keep it off of everything though. Nice. Oh, that's got that little pucker factor there though, because you know that inside wall's coming.
Yeah, it's a bit of a Code Brown moment.
Yes.
This battle's starting to get close.
Yeah, we see Tyler Langenberg, Terry Kroger, and Brad McCombs. Nice to see Brad up there running. He's had a lot of bad luck this season. Nice to see him up there. I know he's got it. He had some.
He was running with us up at the front, and he's fallen off a little bit. But it's not for lack of speed. I think it's just wrong place, wrong time sometimes.
Well, and then he had an incident with his VR headset. He was having some bad issues with that. It kept dying on him, so he ended up getting a new VR headset. And I'm sure that takes a little bit of time to get used to the new headset too.
Yeah, anytime you get some new equipment, it takes a little bit of adjustment.
Now you're a VR guy as well. Is that correct, Patrick?
That is correct. I couldn't go back to a flat screen anymore.
What rig are you running for your VR?
I am running the original Rift. So I got it when it was early in development, and I've been using it ever since. Hasn't failed me yet. So.
Well, that's great.
I got to knock on wood now, but.
Well, yeah, right. Now you just cursed yourself. See, and I don't say and I did the triples, then I went to VR, and then I went to the ultra widescreen. And my ultra widescreen the last couple weeks, it's turned into an old RCA 1970s TV where I have to start my computer and let it warm up.
Oh no.
Yeah, so it's not pretty. It just looks, when I first turned it on, there's nothing. Just some gray lines in random spots. And Samsung's already fixed it once. And that was the end of my warranty period, and so now I turn it on and I just check every now and again and hope that tonight's not the night it decides to die.
As long as it's not a Wednesday night, not a big deal.
Right? Well, I was, it went out last Monday. I couldn't get it. Nothing. Oh, and we see, who's that in the pits? I just saw that Mark Thomas in the pits. I saw some cars in the pits. Looks like Mark Thomas. Okay, I thought maybe they were our leaders were coming in, but it went out a couple Mondays ago, and my wife came in and she just looked and she went, no.
Yeah, it's funny how that happens.
Yeah, it was no. Like, we are no. You find something else. You got a bunch of other little monitors. You'll just have to figure it out on your own. So
strap back on the VR.
And you know what? I love the VR. I wish I could, and maybe now I got some new contacts that might allow me to actually put the VR back on and give it a try. So this weekend we are actually gonna unhook the VR from the basement where my wife uses it to play Beat Saber. Ooh. And that's where she's got a rig downstairs. My wife races in VR, so we're gonna actually steal it and hook it back up and see if I can't run some VR. So I might be back in the VR group.
With us?
She likes to just run against the AI.
Okay.
And
is this a
battle for
place here?
Second place? Yeah, Brad McCombs, and they managed to put a little bit of a gap. Has Tyler Langenberg, but nope. I've tried many times to get her to.
Oh no!
Ryan, is that Tyler Langenberg has had a big incident.
Oh, and he just went past the pits.
See what happens here.
A long way back.
He's coming around, coming up onto. Oh, just gets a little bit wide. Oh. And just misses pit road. And you can see that's got some toe problems. Oh, what a shame. Oh, no, and Nami's had an incident too. Let's see if we can check what happens to Nami here. I believe that's in the carousel. Oh, he just gets it wide.
Just a little push.
Oh, look. Oh, and he collects. I'm not sure who that is. That looks like Richard Curry, maybe. Andrew Malinowski. Man, what a shame for those guys. But we're going to jump on here with Tyler Langenberg. As you can see, that Porsche has got some heavy damage on the right side. In fact, with the wonders of racing, let's see here. Steering wheel doesn't look too bent, though, Patrick.
No, but that bodywork damage is really going to hurt you down the straightaway.
In fact, let's see. Yeah, he was down 6 miles an hour on that back straight. That is going to
that's
not good, especially on this track.
Oh, nice save. Nice catch.
So you know he's got a lot less front downforce on that.
Yeah, that's not going to be an easy car to drive.
I was going to say, do you fight with it for as long as you can, or do you? I mean, you're outside your pit window. You're going to have to come in again. But do you run in?
I think personally for me, I'd pit because there's nothing worse than fighting a broken race car for an hour.
Oh, he's going to stay out there. Yeah, he's going to have to. Well, he's got
I've been wrong before.
Probably 15 more minutes he's going to have to drive that thing around before he gets inside of his pit window. That's going to be a long 15 minutes, like you said.
Certainly is. I mean, the handling of the car doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look like it's too broken, but that straight line speed's going to hurt him.
Yes.
I think that Lamborghini behind him is going to draft right up, actually.
Yeah, that's the Lamborghini Marcus Osborne. Marcus, I'm not used to seeing him in a non-USPS postal scheme paint job, so it confused me for a minute there.
I was trying to figure out what was different there.
Yeah. Now, it'll be interesting to see this time when he goes through the kink, you know, that front end damage is, you know, it's going to be a little bit less downforce on that front end.
And that's even, it's going to be even more wear on those tires.
Yeah, it does look like that front tire's kicked out a little bit. Now, again, it might look that way to us. You never really know. It's not always a true representation of.
Ooh.
Yeah, he is right on the edge with that thing. Oh, that looked pretty solid there.
Yeah, negotiated that fine.
But Patrick, we've all been in there. Are you you know, that was an incident, his own fault. Nobody else had anything to do with that. We've all been there. We've all done that. How hard is it to not drive angry and compound that problem?
Oh, yeah, it's nobody's your own biggest. Nobody's. I'm gonna butcher that.
Pat,
Let's
looks like
do this
Brad
first.
McCombs.
That's a
Brad?
great run out of the final corner.
That was. He got a lot of speed. Carried that all the way down. I mean, that was a nice pass by Brad McCombs there on Terry Kroger. And Terry's been really quick this year. It's nice to see Terry back up in front and having a clean race. He's been another one of those that's been a victim of other people's misfortunes.
Yeah, I mean, he was right up there at the Red Bull Ring. He was having a great race and just, caught a car in the wall already. And it was a bit of a shame for him, but.
And there were a lot of cars in the wall.
Yeah, that was a
mess.
That was a great race. I enjoyed that race. But I think I might have been, myself and Ryan might have been the only ones.
Yes, there weren't many. Well, I'll tell you what, Patrick, we are coming up on 51 minutes here. So we are going to take a quick break, allow you and I to get a little bit of refreshments and use whatever you got to do during break time. How does that sound?
Perfect.
So we will be back in a minute, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Pony Express YouTube channel as we come to you live from Road America Round 12 Endurance for Amateur Series with me, J.R. Kopp, and Patrick Ripley here tonight joining us. We shall be back in a minute, ladies and gentlemen. welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Patrick and I have survived, as have we hope you have as well, as we jump on board here, Patrick. We still see Nick Terrell still out front in GTE over Brad McCombs, who's seems like he's closing the gap a little bit there, Patrick. Brad seems to have found a lot of pace tonight.
Yeah, I mean, a couple tenths a lap adds up, right? I mean, I don't know if it's Nick's getting a little, I don't want to say sleepy, but he's getting not pushing as hard as he needs to be. But
I think the right word is bored.
Definitely coming down. That might be it too. These long races, you really got to keep your head in the game. So it's hard to be the leader. It's easy to be a chaser in this scenario.
Yes, yeah, it's easy to see that guy in front of you and know you want him, and it's hard to be the guy in front and you think you're pushing, and then you realize you're not.
Yeah, and then you start to make mistakes, and I think what he's doing is fine. I think he's doing just fine.
Yep. Maybe saving tires just a little bit, because we're an hour and 4 minutes into this thing now. Track temperature is up to 112, so you know these cars are going to start sliding around just a little bit more. Unfortunately,
we're
go ahead.
On the edge of our pit window here too, so it'll be interesting to see who comes in and maybe takes tires. Try and find a little bit of an advantage. Someone like
there doesn't seem to be a big. And those guys, there doesn't seem to be a big drop off, in at least at this point in the race. In fact, as we're riding along here real quick with with Carl, who I think I know he's gotten faster, because he's turning 206.1s. I mean, he's slowed down a little bit since then, but he is still running low 207s, which is just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's to run that consistently over a whole stint and a half at this point is pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's managed to put a gap between him and Paul Boyle. And we talked a little bit earlier about that battle between Paul and Nicholas, and Paul has gotten by and has managed to gap Nicholas there.
Yeah,
so nice to see.
That's nice for Aaron in the championship. I mean, he's getting ahead of his other championship rival, if you will. So
yeah, that's actually, if they finish like this, I think it's going to put them in a tie.
Going into the last race.
Going into the last race, your points leaders are tied.
You couldn't write a better end of the race, end of the season.
No, and aside from the Diaz, I guess, debacles, and I don't mean that in a bad way, Mr. Diaz, if you're listening, it was, usually by the, 3 or 4 races to go, he'd already had it wrapped up. But for the most part, the GT3 has usually come down to the last race. These guys have, year after year, fight for 12 races, and then inevitably it's last race, and they always seem to find themselves on the track too.
Yeah, I mean, GT3 is always so competitive. Everybody's super skilled there. And of course, it's not the top class, but that doesn't mean it's not the best guys out there, right?
Yeah, exactly. If you were to put GT3 and GT4 on the field, then all of a sudden they're the top guys. So it's just a matter of who you're paired up with. Because these guys definitely are giving it everything here tonight, as Jimmy Covert and Aaron Clayball are running nose to tail. In fact, thankfully, as we talked off broadcast, we're kind of happy that these two are running, because they are the only two on track that are even within a couple seconds of each other. So,
I mean, it's crazy how this race is spread out. Not a lot of people making mistakes. A lot of people just running their race, and it's spread out pretty good.
Yeah, as we see the GTE field coming in for their final pit stop here tonight. Yeah, I was honestly kind of shocked. I figured things would have been a little bit tighter racing, a little bit more bunched up, but they've managed to find their own little spot, and just go and not. I think we've only had 2 or 3 really bad incidents. Now we've had 10 retirees already this race. Richard Curry, Tyler Watts, Mark Thomas, Daniel Reel, Richard Hurst, Gary Schilling. Unfortunately, Tom, I apologize. I have a feeling I cursed him. Chris Lawson, Sean Atkins, and Mark Dillon have all put it on the trailer tonight. But a lot of those were self-inflicted incidents.
Yeah, it's easy to do. I mean, it happens to everybody. At least it wasn't multi-car pileups. Nobody ran into each other, so that's nice.
Yeah, as other racers, we don't mind when you take yourself out. We don't like when you take us out.
Exactly.
In fact, I would imagine. Oh, I see. Aaron Claybaugh has got past Jimmy Covert, so now he is really going to set his sights on Nicholas Pletty. He's got quite a gap to make up, though. Unfortunately, he's got 6 seconds to go, but they still got a half-hour racing left. That's not impossible, especially as we've seen here. One missed that braking marker coming into turn 3, and that gap is going to be gone in an instant.
Yeah, it doesn't take much for it to happen like that, so we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Up here in GT3, Patrick, Brad McCombs has shaved that lead down to 1 second.
Yeah, it's gonna be tight at the end here. Half an hour left, just over half an hour left. We'll see what the race turns into. I mean, we'll have to watch also Tyler Langenberger now that he's taken his pit stop. See if he's got pace left in that Porsche after having his incident. Because that's if these guys start racing, he'll be right there with them, right there.
He will
again.
be.
So.
Yep, and these two have not pitted yet. So we got Nick Terrell, Brad McCombs, Ryan Tyler, and Paul Skip have not done their second pit stops yet. And we know Tyler Langenberg was dying to get into pit stop to get that fast repair. He had that little bit of damage. I imagine he is one happy driver at this point in time to have a good handling car again.
Yeah, crew went hard to work replacing a nose, so kudos to them.
Kudos, yeah. Yeah, I've been a lot of races where I watched a lot of guys work on a lot of cars. It would be nice if iRacing had little animated people out there. You could see them out there banging away on it.
Changing a nose, get the tile cutter out. That'd be fantastic.
Some of that, what is that, Barabond, speed tape, whatever they call that?
Yep,
Slapping that on there.
Barabond. 100-mile-an-hour tape.
100-mile-an-hour tape. We use a lot of that in the military.
That's scary.
Hey, whatever works.
You know what? Can't fault you.
Hey, as long as the vehicle isn't going over 100 mile an hour, it's fine.
As soon as you start doing over that, but
right up to that point, you're good to go.
Governed 99 mile an hour.
Yep.
Was that?
Well, it looks like Brad McCombs has done his pit stop. So that's going to leave. See, Ryan Tyler is, well, these guys, boy, Brad and Nick have really gapped themselves 45 seconds over the rest of the field in GTE tonight. That is not something I was expecting to see, was a two-man breakaway. Especially when all 7 of our GTE guys tonight are either have won or been on the podium this year. I was really expecting them to be closer.
That just goes to show you how good and consistent these front 2 have been all day. I mean, that's good racing all night.
Yeah, we see Brad McCombs pulling out of the pit stops here. So he was in for 20 seconds. So I'm going to guess that means Nick Terrell is probably going to come in on this lap. I don't know if he can stretch it much farther.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if the undercut plays a big factor.
Yeah, as you see,
Especially with,
Nick has got a little bit of traffic.
Yeah, that'll hold him up a little bit. I mean, the gap was about a second, so it doesn't take much to lose that track position.
No, it definitely does not. Especially when you get into these sections where you can't pass anybody. You're kind of stuck. As you see there, he's
Ooh,
had to
that's a
take
big
a
slide.
Yeah, that's going to cost him a tenth or two right there, and he had to take a not ideal line into there too. You know, he didn't get to use all the runoff, but he did make a nice pass.
Yep,
Clean.
there he comes.
Now he's coming into his pit stop. So now we're going to jump over here to Brad McCombs. And we know he was in for 20.17 on his pit stop. So now it's all dependent on how Brad's outlap is. And how much Nick wants to push on his, you know, when he comes out there. Those cold tires coming into that first corner can be a little bit daunting.
Yeah, this will be interesting. It's going to be close for sure.
Well, Patrick and I hope it's close, ladies and gentlemen, because we need something to talk about other than Carl Handwerk in a 16-second lead over Paul Boyle, which is not exciting to watch one man drive around in a circle. We see here,
Getting a nice toe.
as you see Nick pulling out in front, Brad's going to dive up the inside.
Down the road. Wow.
Nick in the pit stops for 1 second less made all the difference. He had a 19-second pit stop. And that showed Brad's got to do all that hard work cutting that gap again. Oh. Well, we talked a little bit off track. I told you that my monitor has a tendency to go gray sometimes, and ooh, it's back.
Oof, you had me worried for a second.
I saw it creeping in on the corner. I was like, Patrick, you're doing this one blind, buddy. Good luck.
I was going to say, we're going to have a 15-second delay to the YouTube. That would make quite the show.
Yes. Oh,
Wow,
let's see what happens
I'm
here.
surprised how much gap there is there. That's
Yeah.
surprising with those front two.
We'll jump on with Daniel Higley and see. Daniel's had a rough night tonight. Just gets in there. Ooh.
Ooh, kept it out of the wall though.
Kept it out of the wall and didn't hit anybody. Now you can see there as he's trying his hardest to make that corner without catching somebody else.
Yeah, he had a good race last week at Daytona. Had a bit of a fuel save issue at the end. Miscalculated a little bit, but he was running really, really strong.
He was. He had a great race. And that goes back to what we talked about earlier. You're your own pit crew, your own everything. You have crew chief and you have all these other, applications that you can use to help you determine fuel, but that doesn't always mean it's going to be right.
Yeah, you take all of that stuff with a bit of a grain of salt, I think.
Yes, especially if, the leader crosses the finish line 2 seconds before the end of the race. Now you're stuck doing a whole nother lap. And maybe your crew chief or you didn't plan on that extra lap.
Yeah, that's always such a dangerous game to play. Deciding, do I take an extra lap of fuel? It's not much. It's a couple liters or half a gallon or however that math works out. But it's not much. It's 4 liters a lap here at this track. 4.4 liters a lap here. So, that's
and
a
you
lot
use
of fuel
all
you
of
got to
it.
have on board.
Yeah, and you use all 4.4 liters. And iRacing, when your car runs out, it's just done. You're not swashing it back and forth trying to get it to pick up that last little bit in the tank. It's just done. It says you're done, and you pull over and you tow back. Unfortunately,
And insult to injury here is the front straight is up the hill, so you got to make it up the hill.
that
With
is
fuel
correct.
on board. We've
Correct.
seen it before in real world, where guys run out of fuel or notoriously break a drive shaft coming up the hill and just can't quite make it up there.
Yep, you're not making it all the way to the top. Well, looks like Nick has found a little bit of extra pace. He's actually started to pull a little bit of a gap on Brad. Was 2.2 when they came out. Now it's, 2.5, 2.6. Now we did have a little bit of a battle earlier. We talked a little bit about Aaron Clayball and Nicholas Pletty. Those are your 1 and 2 in the points so far. And Aaron, once he got past Jimmy, was 6 seconds back, and we weren't sure if he was going to be able to make that gap up. Well, Patrick, he's made the gap up.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. That's pretty impressive that he's coming from that far back. I don't know if there was maybe a mistake from Nicholas, but that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, in fact, he is about a half a second a lap faster right now. And, maybe Nicholas's tires are just wore out a little bit.
Yeah, maybe there was a play for tires in the pit stop. I'm not sure. I think we missed those
Aaron
guys coming
Clayball
in,
took tires.
Yeah, there it is.
Yep, I'm just looking through. He was in for a 1 and 2 second pit stop. And Nicholas Pletty was 34 seconds. So we're starting to see the benefits of those 4 tires as Aaron he has caught Nicholas, and I don't think it's going to take long for him to make that pass.
No, fresh rubber on is such an advantage. I mean, with Paletti's tires being an hour and 20 minutes old versus 15, 20 minutes old tires, it's going to be no contest.
Yeah, he's got 12 laps on those tires compared to Nicholas's 38. And at this temperature, as slick as this track is, that is a world of difference.
Yeah, I think at this point you'll see Aaron will be going flat through the kink still, where I think Paletti will maybe just a bit of a lift. Hard to know really, but I think it's going to be pretty close to that.
Yep. Just a matter of time. As you see, he's cut that gap under a second now. I would imagine coming into turn 3, that gap is going to be all but disappeared. Great strategy. And I'm looking, who, Mr. Carl Handwerk, the master strategy, took no tires, and he is still the fastest man on track.
That's incredible. He puts in a lot of work for these races, so he deserves these wins he's earning.
Oh, he does. He does not. He doesn't back into any of these. That's for sure. So we're going to stay right here with Aaron Clayball and Nicholas Pletty, who are not only battling for the last place on the podium, but they're battling for a season championship here tonight. And if my math is correct, if they were to finish like this, going in the last round, Aaron would have a 2-point advantage over Nicholas.
Yeah, at this point, every championship point counts. So it'll be interesting to see who's going to be aggressive here. I don't think Paletti has much to defend against this tire strategy.
Is it? You're Nicholas. Is it worth really fighting that hard and putting risk of something happen to you or both of you? Or do you he's got pace, he's faster, he's been catching you, second a lap here for the last couple laps. Do you just, let him go by?
I think Paletti needs to get his elbows out here with championship on the line. Make him use up his car, make him use those tires, make him take some life out of them, and then you can race him. I mean, if you take away the places to pass here, it's going to be difficult for him. So I think I'd get my elbows out here a little bit.
Yep, make him earn it. Oh, no, and he doesn't. He's going to let him go. No, he's actually going to defend that inside line. I just don't, yeah. I just don't think Nicholas had the tires, unfortunately. And, I mean, an hour and 22 minutes on a set of tires, that's That's asking a lot.
Yeah, with track temp over 100, that's a lot out of those tires. But you know, coming down into 3, he's
Yep.
a little ways back, but we still could see a bit of a move.
Slightly different lines there too. I see Nicholas is just a little bit wider.
Yeah, you can get 2 wheels over that curve and not getting off track for that. So I think that's worth doing there.
Yep.
As long as you're not braking on the curb, I don't think it's going to hurt you too much.
Yeah, and off tracks are another thing they got to watch out for with the new rules change. There are only 20 incident points before you get a drive-through, and a drive-through here is killer.
Oh, drive-through anywhere is absolutely awful. I mean, a couple races back, I think there was 3 or 4 drive-throughs, and then those drivers were not to be heard from again that race. So it really kills you.
It does.
What, 20 seconds down pit lane?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, it's like you said, it's pretty much race over at that point.
Yeah, so you can't really afford to make too many mistakes like that.
Yeah, as you see here, Aaron has managed to put a nice little gap. Unfortunately, he's going to find himself in no man's land. I don't think he's going to have enough to claw back 12 seconds on Paul Boyle.
Yeah, Paul having a great race, by the way. Coming down
He
to
is.
GT3 first time this season, I think he's having a great race.
Yeah, nice to see Paul driving the Ferrari too.
That seemed to me to be the kind of the car of choice in that class.
It really is that new Ferrari. It handles really well. It's almost like feels like a mini BMW. It doesn't feel real fast, but it is.
The classic slow is fast.
Exactly. Okay, I see we got a couple of the majority of the field is in Ferraris today. Got a couple Porsches, a couple of the Lamborghinis. I was bitter they wouldn't put the Audi in there, so
yeah, that's the Audi's nice. It's just noisy.
it's noisy and it's fun to drive.
I mean,
It's my favorite car to drive. So
yeah, I'm surprised they had the BMW. They could have made it all the mid-engine cars.
that's true. Well, Patrick, we are getting ready. We're under 15 to go. Looks like, oh, we've had an incident with Brad McCombs. I didn't even see that pop up. There it is. See if we can see what happened to Brad McCombs. I apologize to the viewers. All of a sudden, Brad was just not on the track. Oh.
Kept it out of the wall.
Kept it on the wall. Was able to get back on track. And then it looks like he might have had the same incident. Oh, no, he just ran away again. Ooh, got lucky there.
That's good driving right there to keep the wheels straight and power out of that.
Yes. Now, do you think that was one of those incidents of Brad being a little upset that he made a mistake and pushing a little bit too hard?
Oh, for sure. You never want to make a mistake, so you try and drive a little quicker to make up for it, and then you end up putting another wheel off. It's so easy to do.
And that never really works, does it?
No, you've already lost that 3 seconds. You're better just letting it go. Try it again later.
Yep. Well, it looks like we've waited an hour and 27. We might actually have a little bit of a race here. Mr. Paul Skip and Ryan Tyler. Looks like, who is that? Richard Curry going to get out of the way for those guys.
Yeah, both quick guys. I almost want to say it's strange for them not to be on a podium position at the moment.
And not even a podium. They're, 40 seconds back, 45 seconds back of Nick. Now, granted, Nick's run a perfect race. He has been smooth, he's been flawless, but I don't think he's been that much faster than what these guys normally would run. That does seem kind of odd.
Must be something about the Corvettes at Road America here.
You think maybe iRacing done him a little favor?
You never know. I mean, maybe they're the best braking car potentially. I'm not sure. I haven't driven the Corvette, but every car's got a little something to it that makes it special for different tracks. So maybe the Corvette had the secret sauce for here.
Home field advantage.
Yeah, could be. Pratt and Miller's not too far from there, are they? I can't remember.
Nope, I don't believe so.
This could turn into a good little battle here.
It is. We hope so, because we got 10 minutes to go here, Patrick, and I'm looking at our timing and scoring, and these are the only two within 8 seconds of each other.
Wow. And I mean, this has some championship implication as well, these guys.
Yeah, Paul Skip is our actual leader. And he's going to lose a couple points. He's trying to minimize the loss to Terry Kroger, who is in third at the moment.
And
David Lehman is...
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's not going to hurt David Lehman with drop weeks coming up. It's going to be actually quite beneficial for him to have Paul where he is at the moment.
And one thing we should mention about Mr. David Lehman is, he's in second place in GTE, but he is also leading in the Open Wheel for Amateur Series on Monday nights.
Is he really? Wow.
So he is having a great season this year. And he is Mr. Consistency.
No reason to be upset with that, is there?
Not at all. Looks like Paul and Ryan here are running almost identical lap times too. Starting to get a little quicker and a little quicker.
Yeah, I think now's the time you push. 10 minutes to go. It's go time.
Yep. Yeah, it just doesn't seem like Paul has quite had the pace tonight. Which I was not expecting. I was expecting him to be battling up there right from the start.
Yeah, I mean, Paul and I had a pretty good battle at, I guess that was Sebring now, where he ended up winning the race. So, I mean, he's always got the pace. I think he's always got the pace.
Yeah, he won last week at Daytona.
Yeah, so there you go.
In fact, he kind of abused Terry Kroger last week. He made Terry run in front all race long.
Oh,
He never even he let Terry run all race long, and then he managed to squeeze out 4 extra laps. So he was 3 seconds a lap faster on his, or 3 seconds quicker on his pit stop, and he came out 3 seconds in the front, and that was all it took. Oh,
yeah, sometimes
Paul,
a little fuel save.
looks like Paul ran in a little bit deep there. Yep, he ran in a little deep coming into Canada Corner. So, Patrick, as a Canadian, do you know why they call that Canada Corner?
I don't actually know why they call that Canada Corner.
Well, I was hoping you did, because I don't. I just thought it was an unusual corner name.
See, I was hoping you brought it up and you had a nice little anecdote to go with it. But,
a good broadcaster would have that. But then again, a good broadcaster would have a stats guy and...
a good team of people.
We're kind of low budget here, the Pony Express YouTube channel. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, Ryan, are you on a computer over there, or are you doing this mobile phone?
I am doing this mobile phone, but I am breaking the computer out.
So
now you've got my attention.
But this is dedication, ladies and gentlemen. Patrick, who is across the pond working, is kind enough to join us tonight via mobile phone at, what are we, almost 2 o'clock in the morning there now?
It is 2:30.
2:30 in the morning. He was, so I really appreciate it and hope the viewers do as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a world of difference when you get a broadcast with your races. It brings another level of excitement for us. You know, hearing our names called out, good or bad. I mean, you don't like hearing the bad, but part of the territory, right? So,
Exactly.
you know, any way I can kind of give back, I'd love to. So
I appreciate it. Well, here's a gentleman. Now, were you here for season 1?
no, I came in part of last season, so midway through
Okay.
season 2.
So season 1, I battled all season with Tony Watson for the championship in GT3, and Tony won, and it was great. And Tony, I don't even think he qualifies anymore. I think he purposely starts from the back, and here he is yet again, up 11 spots, running in 7th place. But I guess probably 2 or 3 incident points and having another great race. So nice to see Tony up there. Same with Andrew Malinowski. We haven't talked a lot about these guys because they've just been, you know, running their own race. But both those guys up 11 positions tonight, which is not easy to do when you're starting from the back. You know, to work your way up to 7th.
Not.
You know, yeah, there was some attrition. We lost a few guys, but then you got to avoid all those while running good quick lap times. As you see, he's on the back of, I believe that's Richard Curry here, who's a few laps down. But nice to see these guys having another nice, clean, steady, solid races. Be curious to see where Tony goes next year. Some of the new rules, you know, former champions, he's kind of limited as to some of the classes he can go into, but
I think I'd seen him put a bid in to be in our Dark Horse Endurance Series for the next season in a GT3 car.
That would be where Tony is. He does like to do those endurance races.
Yeah, and they're a little bit longer up there, about a 2-hour race now. So
Yeah.
just a little bit longer, but that feels like a whole lot longer in the car.
It feels like a long time in that car. Well, another good race for everyone here tonight. Jason McMurray's had a nice clean race tonight. Gonna come away here with potentially a nice 9th place finish. Marcus Osborne, who needs to inform some people when he's going to change paint schemes on that car. Going to come away with a nice top 10 finish, as you see Terry Kroger right behind him. Terry with a solid run tonight. Going to gain a couple points as things stand right now on Mr. Paul Skip. Oh, no, and Marcus Osborne. Oh, and Terry.
Yeah, it was...
Just as we talked about it. Oh, Terry, that is one of those moments. Marcus just gets in. Oh, so he makes it through the... Oh, he gets in a little too hot there and just loses it. Oh, and that's really hard, too, because that's a blind corner as you see Terry locking it up.
That was good accident avoidance right there.
Man, you know, Terry was sweating that one.
He's had some practice with that this season, so I think he's finally
That he
learned
has. And that corner is so hard because it's blind as it is. You have to brake before you hit the crest of that hill, otherwise you lose the rear end like that. Again, this track, it's just got, every corner has a unique oddity to it that makes it hard. You know, there's nothing the same. Everything's just a little bit odd where it doesn't make sense and it doesn't feel natural sometimes. Oh no, Marcus Osborne had another incident? Or is this... Oh, we're gonna... Alright, well, we don't need to see a replay of the replay, I guess.
We don't need to relive that one.
No, I would imagine Terry's probably still trying to get his heart rate back under control after that one. Well, the two leaders tonight have had flawless races. Nick Terrell and Carl Handwerk have just been putting in steady lap after lap.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they put a tire off track. They've run such a good race.
In fact, I am curious to see. Carl had a odd lap. I don't know if he was getting lapped, but that was his first lap outside of the 207.
Poof. How dare he?
Exactly. So, I don't know if Carl just had an off track or an incident. He's not, and if he did have an incident, he is not going to be happy. He's
maintained that 16-point lead. There's 16-second lead. Sorry. So I don't. Probably maybe a little deep into a corner. That's not the end of the world for this guy. So
no,
he'll shake that one off.
Yeah, we're coming on under the white flag here. I don't think Carl's going to be too upset about having a 2:11 lap time. In fact, now he's got a 2:13 lap time. So maybe it's just
maybe it's fuel.
Maybe it's fuel. Maybe it's tires. You know, he is an hour and 40 minutes into this thing. And Paul Boyle is, wow, if they have to do one more lap, we may see a little bit closer battle than we thought. And I had mentioned earlier that Paul Boyle was,
it looks like Aaron's caught up to Paul as well.
Aaron has caught up to Paul Boyle. Look at that. Aaron Claybaugh is, those tires.
That's a man on a mission right there.
He's running 2:06 lap times to Carl's 2:13s. You know, I don't, it doesn't show me if we're on the checker or the white flag lap. I would assume we are, depending on where Nick is. Oh, Nick is actually right behind these guys, so if Nick doesn't get past, these guys are going to have to run another lap. And Nick is slowed down. You see that?
Yeah, I don't think he'll try and go past these guys.
There's no need for him to push it. But if these guys have to run one more lap, I'll be curious to see how much closer Aaron gets. Oh! As we see Paul Boyle has had a big incident right in front of your GTE leader. Oh, we've had a few of those tonight here, Patrick.
Yeah, I mean,
Paul just gets off, right? And Nick. Oh, a nice saving by Paul. What driving. Whew, well, you know he's going to be cleaning his driving suit after that. Let's see here. So Carl's coming across the start-finish line.
That's going to be the white flag, I imagine, for him.
That should have been the white flag for him, and we're going to see Nick Terrell, who's going to get the checkered flag. So congratulations to Nick.
Well-deserved win.
Well-deserved win. And Brad McCombs is going to come in second place tonight. Nice race for Brad, back on the podium. And Terry Kroger's had a little off-track incident. But we're going to jump down here real quick to Carl. Now he has got a 9-second lead. He is about 5 seconds a lap slower. I don't think Aaron's going to have enough, but as Aaron's coming down.
He wants to be.
Yes. Yeah, he's gets in there a little bit deep.
He's pushing.
As Carl is coming into the carousel. Got an 8-second gap. Oh, this is
Boy, he is moving slow.
Yeah. Carl is, I mean, you can tell he is babying that thing. I'm going to guess this is not going to be flat out going through the kink. And if it is, it's because he's going slow. And here we see Aaron
Wow, that is
going
not a
through
big
the
gap
kink.
anymore.
Well, we're going to stick with this battle because, well, we're 7 seconds. Carl's got 3 more corners to negotiate. And I'm going to guess he is going to be a happy man to not have to do one more lap.
Yep, not quite.
Not quite tonight, but whoa, what an effort by Aaron Clayball. Ooh, I imagine Carl was watching that relative disappear thinking, thank gosh, there's only 1 lap left.
Yeah, I can't wait to find out why that was.
Yeah.
I'm quite curious now.
Well, let's see what we've got here. Well, let's while we're waiting for everybody to join in, let's take a quick look here at our race recap here tonight. GTE, Nick Terrell takes home the winner with Brad McCombs coming in second, Terry Kroger Jr. in third, Ryan Tyler, Paul Skip, Daniel Higley, and Tyler Langenberg round out your field tonight in GTE. And we're still waiting on GT3 to finish up completely, but let's get that back there. So we Carl Handwerk with a close victory, much closer than he was expected over Aaron Clayball. Paul Boyle comes in third, followed by Nicholas Pletty. Jimmy Covert rounds out your top 5. James Foreman, Tony Watson, and Andrew Malinowski both had great races from the back. Jason McMurray and Marcus Osborne round out your top 10. Richard Curry, Nami, Zachary Nürnberger, Tyler Watts, Mark Thomas, Richard Durst, Daniel Reel, Gary Schilling, poor Tom. I apologize, Tom. Tom Corner, again, cursed. He said in the chat, too, top 5s are just not his thing. Chris Lawson, Sean Atkins, and Mark Dillon. Great racing here tonight, Patrick.
Yeah, everybody had a good run. I think everybody kept it on track for the most part. So
Yeah.
it was a good race.
Well, let's go grab Mr. Nick Terrell. What do you say and get him in here and see what his thoughts were on tonight's race?
Let's do it.
Congratulations, Nick. What a victory in GTE here tonight. How I haven't spoke to you in Victory Circle before. How did they feel?
Yeah, it's the first time in this league for sure. This has always been one of my favorite tracks to race on. I've done a lot of racing in the C8R, so it felt like a kind of a perfect setup. Road America with an American car. This was high downforce setup was pretty good. It was able to hold. I pushed a little in the beginning, but then I remembered I was trying to remind myself that I was just wanted to try to save tires on the left side most importantly. So I do turns like the carousel, the kink, and turn 1. I was trying to go easier once I had a little bit of a gap behind me. But those first little bit, and whenever Brad was freaking catching me, it was making me nervous because I saw that delta just getting smaller and smaller, and I was wondering if I was having enough tire to push or not. So it was a blessing when I looked back and saw that he'd made a mistake.
I know
Yeah,
you
you
were on the Corvette a lot. Did you feel like there was anything to it at this track? I mean, I know it didn't change anything for you, but the 2 Corvettes had quite the gap on the rest of the field.
Even in like practice and qualifying stuff, it just seemed like if we could put down like a clean lap, not going too hard in the braking zone and lighting the tires up, just keeping the tires quiet, making good turn-ins, braking, just consistency was one of those things that in practice, like I was able to get down to like 202s at one point, and then had an optimal in this race down low 203s, but obviously that was early in the race, and then just trying to conserve tires for the long run. Like at the end, let me see what my tires were even at. I'm kind of curious now. At the end, my tires were down in like probably the 30s, I imagine.
Well, congratulations on making it here to Victory Lane. Nice racing. Who do you want to thank for helping you make it here tonight?
Yeah, really, I just like to thank the league just for keeping a nice, smooth running ship going, and everyone gets along pretty well, knock on wood, most of the time. It was a really clean race, at least what I had to deal with. That got behind a few back markers here and there, but that's to be expected, and just had to be patient. But with patience, I would look up and see that delta changing. So I thank myself a little for just trying to keep a reminder in my mind to stay patient, save the tires, and just thanks for the good racing that everyone provides. It feels weird to be talking to you guys, but I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, Nick. Your winner here tonight from Road America in GTE, and got one race left this season. Maybe we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, I'd like to win as well, so we'll see how it goes. Have a good one, guys.
All right, congratulations. Nick Terrell, your winner tonight in GTE. Let's go grab Mr. Carl Handwerk, your winner tonight in GT3, and see what happened. Carl Handwerk, welcome back once again. Victory Circle here tonight in GT3. Everything seemed to be going pretty smooth there until the last 3 or 4 laps. What happened?
When I made my pit stop, my front left was at 55%, and I knew I had a little bit less than half the race left, and I didn't want to take a chance, especially coming to the end there. Talking to my teammate Jimmy, he said the first time that iRacing warns you is when it's at 45%, and it was a little deeper into that second half of the run, or the second run out there when it finally warned me. So I wanted to believe him, but I didn't think I only burned 10% in that long distance of time since I went into the pits. So I was a little sketchy, and I figured, you know what? I got about a 20-second lead. Let me just go ahead and burn it off instead of burning these tires off.
Okay, so you were just playing a little cat and mouse. We were watching, and Aaron was closing fast. We weren't sure if you were completely dead on tires or if that was part of strategy. But I guess, Patrick, we probably should have known, Carl, it was strategy.
Yeah, no doubt. We knew all along.
I appreciate that, guys. Yeah, it turns out I had 21% left, so I guess I could have pushed a little bit harder, but I wasn't taking a chance. I mean, that's one thing that's nice about the lead that I got from pushing it so hard in the first half. I could kind of milk it a little bit at the end, but yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking for the last couple laps.
Well, you didn't show it. You put on once again a dominating performance. Watkins Glen, what are your thoughts going into the final race of the season?
It's going to be a battle. There's really no ways about it. It's a smoother track than here, and it's a lot faster. It doesn't have the straightaways that this one does, but it's a lot more kind of flowy. So you're going to need a car that transitions well. I don't think I can get away from the Ferrari. I mean, it's taken me this far, so regardless of how the other cars feel, I almost feel obligated to run the Ferrari. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting coming down here to the final.
Great. Well, we wish you luck next week, and I know you're going to be right up there in that points championship battle here as well. And once again, Carl, who we thanking for putting you in victory lane tonight?
Same guys as always. Obviously, you guys for putting up the broadcast, Mark and all the guys that help out putting up Pony Express. It's been a fun league last season and this season. All the guys over at Core Racing, Jimmy, Mark for helping me out and running well. Mark had a bit of a struggle tonight. Jimmy was able to get a top 5, so good on him. Shout out to the people I usually got watching out there, Paul, Barry, my dad Rich, and everybody else that's been rooting me on here. I appreciate it, guys.
Well, congratulations, Carl. Another victory in GT3, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. All right, Patrick, I'm going to grab Brad McCombs and let you have a conversation with the young man. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
All
Hey,
right.
Brad, great race. Hello?
Mr. Brad McCombs. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, Patrick.
Didn't want to talk to me.
Yeah, let's I'll go grab Aaron and maybe we'll get Brad back here in a minute. Let's grab Aaron and see if Aaron's around.
Hey, Aaron, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Patrick. How are you?
Not so bad. Great race, man.
Thanks. Yeah, that was fun chasing Paul down there at the end. I don't know if you guys were watching that battle, but it was really intense.
Yeah, it was great. what was going on through your head through that last little bit? Because we saw you took some tires, and that really made a world of difference for you.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I was kicking myself at first because I lost so much time on the pits, and I wasn't making up a lot there for the first, I don't know, half of that last stint. But then those last 20 or so minutes, the tires on everyone else's cars really hit a cliff, and I was able to really make up a big gap.
Yeah, that's huge for your championship hopes, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really close between my teammate Nick and Carl going into Watkins Glen. I think we're only separated by a few points, so it's going to be a crazy battle next week.
Yeah, what do you think of Watkins Glen? I mean, that's a fan favorite for the most part. What do you have for Watkins Glen?
Yeah, I actually won their last season in the GT3As, so I'm really looking forward to it. I think we'll have a good chance and we can fight it out.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll be watching for sure, right, JR?
Oh, definitely. That'll be the championship battle, and I'm just doing a little bit of math, and it looks like you're going to have about a 6-point lead going into the final round, Aaron.
All right. Well,
now that could change with drop weeks.
Wood.
Yeah, that could change with drop weeks and everything too. So it's really hard to be exact, and I'm not really good at math.
Fair enough.
So, well, awesome. Well, Aaron, who do you want to thank for bringing you home in second place here tonight?
Yeah, wanna give a shout out to my teammate Nicholas Paletti. Shout out to Paul for the good race. Also, I was running a tribute car tonight for my grandpa. Him and I were really, really big racing fans. We watched a lot of racing together when I was growing up. So shout out to him. And yeah, shout out to you guys for doing the broadcast and Pony for putting the league on.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Aaron, and congratulations. And we look forward to talking to you next week. Hopefully, I guess Victory Circle, not so much, but Championship would be even better, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would be awesome.
All right. Well, good luck next week, Aaron, and we look forward to talking to you next week.
All right. Thanks, JR. Thanks, Patrick.
Well, Patrick, it looks like we lost Brad. So, unfortunately, Brad McCombs, our second place tonight in GT3 is not, or GTE is not going to be able to make it, Patrick. But overall, what'd you think of tonight's race?
It was a great race. I mean, it was great to see everybody keep it on track and have a solid result for most of these guys. I've learned it's a lot harder to sit here and watch the race knowing you want to be out there. So, more kudos to you than there was before.
Yeah, well, it was a pleasure. In fact, I just got a message from Brad. He says, sorry, I don't know why my phone disconnects me every time. Maybe one day in the off season we can practice and I'll figure it out. Tell everybody I had a great time, great race, and I'm ecstatic to be on the podium. So congratulations, Mr. McCombs. Sorry we didn't get a chance to talk to you. Patrick, looks like you're thinking you're going to be back for the Watkins Glen race, though. Is that correct?
Yep. I head back. I'm back Friday, back in the rig. So I'll get some time to test for Watkins Glen, and hopefully I can be talking to you next week in Victory Circle.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you make it back into the race, I might drag you in during pit stops, and you can be the in-game reporter as well.
I'm going to be wiping the sweat off my face too much to try and focus on that.
Good. Well, we like to keep things difficult here at Pony Express, so. Awesome. So that brings us to the end of our show here tonight, Patrick. Next week, round 13, Watkins Glen for the championship in Pony Express Endurance for Amateurs. We look forward to seeing everybody there. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and hit the bell. Get notified every time we come on the air Mondays and Wednesdays. Patrick, thanks a lot for joining me tonight. I appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a blast. Can't wait to get back out there.
Great. And good luck next week, sir.